Good morning, Keller Williams. How are you doing? Happy Monday. Happy 8th, I think. Is it the 8th of November? My goodness, the year is just continuing to crank along. It is so lovely to see all of you this morning. As always, a couple of things to check off this morning before we dive into our main topic. The first thing I wanted to just mention to everyone is that Steve and I actually are leaving on a vacation tomorrow. We are taking my 92-year-old grandmother to France to see two great grandchildren that were born during the pandemic that she has not been able to see. So we are excited to be able to take her over to see family. And as much as we are excited to see family, we're also excited to then sneak away for 6 days to Malta while she visits family, and then we'll come back to France and pick her up and bring her home. So we'll be in France and Malta the next few weeks, and by tomorrow morning you will have an outline of if you need something that you might typically go to one of us for, exactly who you might go to for an answer, for a document, for a whatever while we're away. So do watch for that. You are completely covered by our talented and dedicated leadership team in our absence. So we're excited to kind of check out for a couple of weeks. We'll be back just before Thanksgiving in time to make certain that we have turkeys cooked and gravy ready for our gratitude feasts right after Thanksgiving. So just to give you a heads up on that, and you'll see a follow-up email on that tomorrow. But if you, my phone typically is not activated, by the way, on purpose while I am out of the country. So so if you're texting me and not getting any responses, that's why. I'm not ignoring you. Well, I'm sort of ignoring you, but not on purpose. I'm ignoring you in that my phone is not going to receive while I'm away. So do enjoy the next couple of weeks. We will see you today and tomorrow and then be off. You might have seen this morning, today is the last call for the second round of the KW Investment Group. As you know, we have our first company formed and operating and churning along, purchasing our third property inside of that LLC. We do have our second opportunity now. I do need to know today if you are interested in belonging or becoming a part of that second opportunity and at what investment level. That will give me an idea of what we're looking at. Do we have enough people and enough funds to actually form a group and make it pay you back? I'll know that by the end of the day today, so that we can then get you a draft of the operating agreement for that operation tomorrow, so that you can be reviewing it in my absence. So as soon as I'm back just before Thanksgiving, we'll get clarity around what that actually looks like. So calendar items for today. So busy week, busy couple of days. Today at 11 o'clock, for those of you who are interested in additional information on the state's changes to the team discussions, the team name discussions, excuse me, I will have an 11 o'clock meeting right here in this Zoom room with the latest information. I don't have, I mean, just to put it out there, I don't have a whole lot more to share with you than we've shared in the past. However, there are a couple of additional answers and some clarity that's been given by the state in the interim. And I do want to make sure that you have that in your hands. That new law does go into effect on January the 1st, with enforcement of it still kind of up in the air, because, and I'll tell you about that at 11 o'clock. However, if you are interested in more news on that, whether you are a team or you're a solo agent who has named yourself as if you are a team, all of those people could be affected by this. So 11 o'clock today for more info on that. Today at 1 o'clock, we do have a Forms 101 session, and that's going to be forms in terms of offers to purchase. We are free offers to purchase forms, the actual offer to purchase, the purchase agreement, and the 4-page contract. I will go through each of those forms with you. If you have questions about when you use which one and why we have 3 different ones, and if something's confusing, bring your questions. We'll spend about an hour on that. And then I did promise the Ignite students last week that at 2 o'clock, we would move directly into a conversation about the buyer the buyer form and how the script that we give out in the buyer consultation kind of overlays that buyer agreement. So if you're struggling with getting asked questions that you can't answer on the buyer form, 2 o'clock today, we'll spend about 20 to 30 minutes on that as well. So that's an outline for those two today. Of course, Debbie's Business Builders happening all week this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9:30 in her Zoom room. So do avail yourself of that. And then just a quick look at the rest of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all at 1 o'clock. Wednesday is the continuation of James Shaw's 12 weeks of listings. So if you've been plugging into that, do continue to plug into that. Thursday is Debbie and Donna's business planning clinic follow-up. So for those of you who attended Gene Rivers' business planning clinic, or for those of you who didn't, make sure that you're in this Zoom room at 1 o'clock. Debbie Orr and Donna Gilbert will be walking you through a follow-up. Donna just spent a couple of days down in Florida with James Shaw and some others, getting some excellent follow-up info that she's going to combine with Debbie's info and deliver to you to make sure that you have a plan that is clear and executable for 2022. So we'll see you there on Thursday at 1 o'clock. And then Friday at 1 o'clock, we do have a Ask Jeannie and Todd Almost Anything session, right? Now, I do want you to recognize that the word almost is thrown in there, right? So temper your questions, but what a great opportunity. Jeannie and Todd have volunteered to kind of open the mics and just do an open Q&A. So if you have questions about taking listings, growing a team, managing weird clients, whatever that might, right? Whatever that might be, Jeannie and Todd will close nearly $100 million in real estate this year. And yes, I did just say $100 million in real estate this year, right? And so I can't think of two people better to answer your questions and inspire you to implement what you will work on Thursday with Donna and Debbie than Jeannie and Todd. So do join them in this Zoom room at 1 o'clock on Friday. All right, that is our week.
Rick?
Yes.
Quick questions, Cal. Was there a command session today, Monday through with Joe, or did I confuse that?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. And so, yeah, you saw an email go out last week. We do start today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have 8 days of command, right? So Monday through Thursday, and then Monday through Thursday next week. I believe that's 11:30 each day. You have to do reference that's not in this Zoom room. However, you have to reference the email that Joe sent out last week for the links to bring you into each of those categories. So thank you for that reminder, Cal. 11:30 each day this week, Monday through Thursday, and then again Monday through Thursday next week as well, if you are looking to plug in and get your fill on command. Yeah, so that kind of completes our week this week. All right, so with our remaining time, I wanted to just kind of address the topic of mindset from a slightly different perspective this morning. As you saw yesterday, I did title this 26.2 Reasons Why Mindset Matters. And we do have somebody in our midst who just had a relatively personal experience with the number 26.2, and mindset had a lot to do with that experience. And so I wanted to feature today our very own Steve Scott. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How's everybody today?
As most of you know, Steve yesterday completed his second New York City Marathon, which is 26.2 miles. Did it like a champion, and we wanted to kind of let him just chat with you a little this morning around not only what it takes to compete and complete achievements at a high level like that, but really how mindset kind of comes in and takes a hold of your ability to achieve at high levels. Again, 26.2 reasons why mindset matters. Now, so you know, he is not going to give you 26.2 reasons. Instead, we're just going to have a quick conversation around what that looked like. And so, Steve, tell us a little bit about your experience yesterday, and we'll talk a little bit about mindset.
Yeah, sure. Well, my experience yesterday was absolutely amazing. And truly, like, I've reached out to you guys. Thank you so much for all of your texts. I mean, when I went out and I bought my Apple Watch just for that reason before the marathon, so I could see you guys. And I did see most of them as I was running. So thank you for that. That was so helpful. It was a great day. Perfect weather, which is very important for a marathon. And, you know, I just heard Lisa saw on TV that they said there was an estimated crowd of 1 million people lining the streets. 1 million, I guess 300,000, 1 million people lining the streets, more than ever in the history. 50 years, it was the 50th running of the marathon. So more than ever in 50 years. And that made a huge difference for me. You know, the crowds cheering and the bands playing and the entertainment destinations are literally every couple miles, entertainment destinations. It was just incredible. So yes, mindset does play a part. We're going to talk about that, but obviously training does too. And I've been training officially since July. I mean, I'm a runner. You guys know I'm a runner. I do that casually. Just this is what Rick and I do. But, you know, I've been training for the marathon since July, and a very, you know, rigorous, very specific things I had to do every week. And that makes all the difference in the world, because, you know, this was my second running, and my results were very similar. Although I was 3 years older. I had that experience before, and I knew what I needed to do physically to get to the finish line, because I had experienced that already. But mindset, getting to mindset, it is everything, guys. I mean, I think that it's proven the human body can run 26.2 miles. I was saying to Rick this morning, I don't know, why isn't it 32 miles or whatever? Whatever. I know there's history behind the marathon and all that. But, you know, it's kind of interesting that there is a stretch point. Like, I would say that most people can comfortably get to 18 or 20. And so many of you are going to sit there and say, no, that's not me. Trust me, if I'm even having this conversation today with you about this, anyone could do this. And I think anyone could get to that 18 or 20 mile threshold. And again, I don't know what it is about it, but then beyond that is what is really challenging. And that's where the mindset really kicks in, because the training is up to 20 miles. 20 miles, I didn't run a step more, and trust me, not a step more than 20 miles when I trained. So the last 6 is all about mindset and pushing your body and pushing your mind to get to that finish line.
And so did you have any kind of strategies that you used for I mean, maybe not even just the last 6, but kind of the whole way along? How did you make sure that your mindset was helping you and not hindering you?
Yeah, well, mindset from the get-go is, you know, very positive. You can do it. And when you start at the starting village with 33,000 people with booming music and all kinds of, you know, pep talks and everything, I mean, you're pretty pumped up. And yet, you know, mindset wise, I told myself, I've done this before, I can do it again. The first time I did it, I told myself that I trained for this, I can do this. All that preparation for the last 3.5, 4 months will get me to the finish line. So for me, running this time as well as last time, I guess, I mean, most of my long runs, so I train during the week and then I do long run training on the weekends. I did it in one place up in New York State on this trailway. I mean, I knew exactly where my mile markers were from my trainings, and I pictured those mile markers in my head as I was running, you know, the actual marathon. Like I knew I was after my first 3 miles, I knew where that was. I knew where 5 miles was before my first hill of my training and how easy it was. And I just kept telling myself, this is where you are. Remember that, and how you did that so easily by, you know, so many long runs over the weekend. So that helped me. But mindset also, the crowds. I mean, I can't say enough for that. Especially, and my understanding is that I've never run another marathon outside New York. There are many throughout the world. Nothing compares to New York. With a million people, how can you not be motivated and just feel so optimistic with the crowds? I mean, I wrote my name on my shirt, which I also ran for charity, so I had the name of the charity, but I put my name on my shirt, which they recommend you do. What a difference. Oh my God, what a difference that makes. And yes, it seems silly, total strangers yelling out your name, Steve, go Steve, whatever. It's everything. It's everything. It's as if they know you, they know what you've done, they're connecting with you, and it really helps. Of course, seeing your own family is everything. These guys were along the way helping, but that the crowds was incredible. By the time this time I got to mile 14, so I already got past the halfway mark. Mile 14, I felt like I was floating and my feet never touched the ground. I truly mean that. It was incredible to me. And at that point, I had paced myself for the most part as much as I could, because that's very important. And my mind kicked in like, okay, you feel really, really good, but you're just over the halfway mark. You've got a long way to go. You've got to at least get to, certain markers that I had in my head, but you had to get to 20. I just had to get to 20. And then beyond that, you just wish for the best. And you just you picture that finish line in your mind, literally. And at that point, for me, the crowds kind of start to disappear, honestly. From mile 24 on, I don't even see or hear the crowds. I'm just so focused on finishing.
So what I'm hearing you say are positive affirmations, visualization, right? Because you're kind of making sure that you can visualize that you've done this before someplace else. This is just a different route, right? And then of course the idea of, I think somebody put it in the chat as well, that complete this sentence. How do you know that a human being needs encouragement?
Right.
They're breathing, right? And so,
of course,
so
everybody.
the idea of having all that positive reinforcement and people say sending positive vibes, man, sounding like you use that. You said something last night though that was interesting, and I want you to just repeat it. And it was about that last little stretch, right? When you're on Central Park South, that can really be a bear. It's the last like mile and a half. And I think you said you ran through there, and as you turned back into the park, approaching the finish line, you were less than a mile away. But what did you do in your head to make sure that you could get there?
I don't even remember what I told you about that.
Okay, well, so I'll remind you. You were less than a mile away. However, you told yourself.
I told myself that I had a mile to go. I actually had a quarter of a mile to go. Only a quarter of a mile after 26, and I knew that, but I kept telling myself, nope. You got a mile to go, Steve. You've got to push through. So you got to continue the pace, feel the pace, continue to feel the pace, because you got a mile to go, and boom, it was over before I knew it. That really helped me get to the. And also, what I never realized before, the last 300 yards before the finish line is uphill in Central Park. Whoever thought that was a good idea?
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, we really appreciate you kind of giving us the rundown today. Guys, if you think that running a marathon or any kind of accomplishment is just a physical one, I hope what you heard this morning was it is as much, if not more, a mental game than it is a physical, right? Training and preparation only get you so far. You've got to train your brain to then, by the way, it's also 4.5 hours of running. At least for Steve, it was 4.5 hours of running, right? Which can get crazy boring, even with the sights and sounds and smells of New York, right? But what did you say?
No, it just evaporated. It didn't feel like 4.5 hours at all to me. It's kind of crazy how that happens, because you're in your mind, you're in your head.
Yeah, and so Heather's asking, if there's chatter in your brain, how do you conquer the chatter? Like when your brain's starting to say your feet are hurting, your calf is cramping, or your whatever. How do you push your mind through that?
I will say you got to pay attention. If that happens and you've got a cramp here or a cramp there, you got to pay attention to it, because that can be bad. And that happened to me at mile 21 this time. But you just push through it. You just push through it, and you focus on the end result, because you can do it. You've done it before, or you've come close to it. If you haven't done one before, you've done 20 miles. So you just focus on the end result. And that's just what you keep telling yourself. And you can push through it. Plus, when you have, 100 other people telling you can do it right around you, it kind of helps.
I love it. I love it. Well, congratulations on number 2. It's an awesome achievement.
Thank you.
Everyone's very impressed that you're not home on the couch, that you're at work doing your thing. So again, mindset conquers everything, including getting up this morning and saying, you know what, it's Monday, it's a work day, I'm going to work.
Yep.
So congratulations. Thank you so much, guys. I hope that was a helpful reminder about how important mindset is. Have an amazing, amazing day today. We will see you throughout the day. And of course, back here tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Take care. Have a great one.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your messages.